started. Okay, this is my junk journal that I made using this beautiful antique scrapbook cover. I used the cover and then I added 2 signatures inside, which I sewed in and then added some different textures to the binding. So the first page was actually already there in the scrapbook. Somebody had pasted a picture of Niagara Falls in it. So I went ahead and stamped around it and added some elements, including these beautiful handmade rosebuds. This is kind of the theme of my book, Life is a Shipwreck, but we must not forget to sing on the lifeboats, which is a quote by Voltaire. And so it sort of seemed significant to me for where I am right now in life. I used this beautiful embroidered ribbon to strengthen the spine, and as you can see, it goes all the way from front to back. So the first page is a tag that I made a little while back of a little girl with some pretty stitching, and I just love this mustard color. On the second page, I did a little homage to my favorite author, Jane Austen. I had this reproductive graphic of someone from Jane Austen's era, an actual portrait of her that somebody did in England, and then a little biography here with this beautiful old doily. And then this page has a pretty flower card, vintage card, and this fun little tag, which I got from IKEA, a beautiful soap label from France. It's just a reproduction though. And then this is a tag that I made a long time ago and decorated with a pretty, one of my favorite bluebird images, and then a little card that says happiness by chance. On this page I have some vintage wallpaper from probably the late 60s, and onto it I've glued a piece of a pattern, and then I sewed on this cute recipe for harvest cake, and then I have this nice Maya Road pin of a dress form. This page is something that I got as part of the postcard swap. It was made by one of my friends, and the theme was vintage postcard, and I just thought it was adorable with using the buttons as cherries, and a lot of work obviously went into that, so I was happy to be able to use it in my album. And then I put in a page from the Sears Roebuck catalog, correct coat styles for stout figures. This page shows the back of one of the pages of a paper that I did myself, which is several different layers, kind of in a patchwork pattern of different textures of paper, and a beautiful antique card that was pulled out of a scrapbook, and it ripped when it was pulled out, but there was still enough of the image left to be able to glue it down and enjoy it still. And this is a piece of applique from an old towel, a piece of French vocabulary book, some shorthand scribbles, and a book plate that I sewed together. This book belongs to, and then you put your name, and it says dig deeply within my pages. And then this is the middle page of the signature, and it has, I made a copy of a beautiful print that I have of a girl and her dog, and then I hand colored it with colored pencil, and I added that all onto a sheet of paper with this cool old invoice, and then I sewed together some an old page from a primer and this little quote about beauty, and then this really pretty rose piece of scrap that was never used. And I also stamped it with one of my favorite stamps in a vine pattern. And then this page, this is a jumble of different things that I thought looked fun together, including an old Pitt card. And then the next page is the other half of that collage of different papers. And this beautiful tag was made by another artist, and when I purchased some of her ephemera, she sent this tag along as a thank you, and I just think it's beautiful, so I was happy to be able to feature it here. Next page, again, one of the decoupage pages that I made, and this time I stuck on this cute trade card picture of a little girl sticking her hand into a silk pouch, and this fun greeting card from the 50s that shows a little dog on a beautiful sofa. The next page is a really old, from the 1800s, two-sided handwritten document about a medical study, and it doesn't really matter what it says, it's just the beauty, I think, of the script. And I added on a really great card that shows a bird and a piece of embroidery with some really fabulous trim that I added around the edges. On this page we have the back of that writing, an envelope with an old flower card that probably came in a cigarette or tobacco pack, some fabric that I cut out that kind of matched the tones in this beautiful blue, which matches this, which matches this, which matches this, and a bingo card that I gessoed over to make it not so bright. This page has a piece of a poem from a child's book, and this cute card that I thought was cool with the silhouettes of the children playing, and I liked the black theme, so I added some black lace. There's a little star in the corner that shows up as well on this side. This, again, this is just a collage. I have a Santa Fe train number, sort of a record page. I sewed on an old S&H stamp page for people that were collecting the stamps, card, and a couple of old and new interesting pieces of drawings of ladies. No particular theme there, just fun, except that this tall ship matches the tall ship on the lady's hat. This is one of my favorite pages as far as the ones that I stamped and painted and decoupaged, because you can see the pretty flower and the pretty script that came through. There's another postcard swap card, and this one is about the beach, and it's really fun. One of our friends made it, and it's a collage of beachy looking things. And then I added this piece of cigar silk that somebody edged around with fancy stitch. It's very old. This is probably from the mid-1800s, and it's a picture of a woman in a swimsuit at that time, and the beach was Nantucket, I think. This page is newer papers, but to it I added this strip of braille because it just feels great. This is another postcard from the swap that somebody made a beautiful bird nest theme vignette on. And this is a super old rose from a very old dress from the 1800s, a dress that I bought at an auction, and there wasn't much salvageable except these roses. This page is just a tag that I made recently Follow Your Heart and You Will Never Go Wrong, an old doily, and some roses, and I put one of those corner tabs on here. And this page is kind of a yellow theme. I received this in a swap. I think it was the embellishment swap. It's a pretty yellow themed tag to which I added some buttons and some blue roses, and going along with the fashion theme here, we have sew a summer costume, sewing a little bit more of a pattern, and some trim. This is another collage. It's really a little receipt from an Italian art store, as well as a tag that I made quite a long time ago where the colors match, I thought, pretty well. Another shorthand page. This is a piece of cigar label and a little heart that I made out of some transparent fabric. This is an ATC that came from one of our friends. That was a gift to me, and I thought it looked great on this page with Paris and the theme of the houses, and then the purple with the lavender trim that's vintage. This is a page that I tried something new. I did all black, glossy black paint. I'm not sure how I feel about it, but I think it looks pretty with the trim. And then I put on some things that look nice in silhouette. This was from the embellishment swap. This I cut out of the front of a greeting card, and this is a piece of old wallpaper border. This collage has so many elements, including a piece of Barbie stationery, some old embroidery, some unused German scrap, and some structural elements and some lace. This is the middle of this page, of this signature, I mean. It's the instructions from a knitting page, and I've added a strip of scrapbook paper of a map and some travel themed items. This is an empty tea bag, and then I just decorated it a little bit with some little pieces of pretty things. I wanted to do kind of a mermaid theme on this page, so I have a sheet of paper from the Little Mermaid, some sea colored tulle, and then